So there we were, on the northern suburbs of Belgrade, in the Soviet era tower block, kind of a massive, extensive estate of them actually, in kind of Novi Beograd. We were waiting for our van to show up, which was a white transit minibus, and we had done our rehearsals, we had learned the music, we were off to Bosnia for the start of our tour. So we basically loaded into the bus, and as I said, all the guys in the band were Serbs. The driver was a Serb. The manager was a Serb, and our press agent was a Serb. And all of the areas we were going to be playing in Bosnia were Muslim areas, 100% Muslim. And so we took off, drove around Zenica and into Tuzla. So when we got to Tuzla, we got out and we had a bit of a walk around. Welcome to Bosnia. And basically got a coffee and a bit of cake, and it's really cool. And then we had to drive off down to our to where we were playing. It was a kind of a concert venue, and so we still had a bit to drive, still had a bit of a distance to go. So we got there eventually, and it was a lovely little concert. Got on very, very well. Great crowd, and as I said, mainly like Muslims, absolutely majority, but Croats would come down, and they were lovely people, and the lads got on incredibly well with them, and other Serbs came down, and they were lovely people as well, but also Yugoslavs, people that would say, if you asked them what's your ethnicity, or what's your religion, or whatever like that, they would say, we're Yugoslav. Yeah, and there was still a lot of them there when I was there. And next thing is, we went to this place in the middle of nowhere, actually not too far away from the Bihać pocket of Fikret Abdic, to this place called the Cultural Container. The local authorities procured this kind of plastic orb for concerts and social events in the area. So we played there, and it was a fantastic little gig. And basically we moved on from there to Mostar. Now, for the people with the notability penchant, the pendantic for that, we played 2 concerts in the Luciano Pavarotti Centre. One evening concert, and basically the next day we were supposed to do a workshop, but because nobody could speak English, we just played a gig, and full houses, and got on incredibly well. From Mostar back to Sarajevo, and played some gigs there. The one thing is, at about 5 in the morning, we had this thing where there was an air raid siren would go off, and it was initially it was kind of, what's this all about? Because I had been in earthquakes in Los Angeles, and basically it was the mosque summoning the faithful to prayer. And so that was a bit of a culture one for you. And after Sarajevo, we went back to Tuzla. Now, before we got to Tuzla, everything was congenial. Kind of nice guy Eddie type stuff. Everyone getting on very well. Ricky Gervais, are you having a laugh kind of thing? Bit of that. But in Tuzla, we played in a kind of a Yugoslav bomb shelter, about three stories down kind of thing, and they turned it into a club and a pub, and lovely people, absolutely amazing. The audience went mental for us actually, and the gig was amazing, and that's where I would because I had another 2.5 weeks to go, on the tour, but I was in the band then, definitely. And that's the thing, because we got on so well. We were kind of just really, hitting it out of the park. Really, really good. Then, so after Tuzla, back to Sarajevo, we did a workshop in the local polytechnic, the local music polytechnic, and we also played another gig. And then we basically went back drove from Sarajevo back to Belgrade, and from Belgrade we went down straight away and got a train to Montenegro. We're practically on the road for a day. But everywhere I went in Bosnia, people were incredible. Food was quite amazing, but Bosnia, I have to say, it was like nowhere I've ever been before. It was like the Garden of Eden. Everywhere we went, it was like, the Secret Garden, if you can remember that on TV back in the day. Absolutely enchanting. And the people were just so affable, so congenial, and, so helpful, so nice. Quite an amazing thing. Thank you very much for listening.